Last Room of the Elite Season 3 Episode 9. So the episode started with the glass being really somber because in the last episode we saw Yamauchi get expelled and apparently the class is not feeling really good right now. They're not in the mood. And yeah, everyone is kind of down. So you had the leader, even Horikita, kind of down also. Even though at the end of the episode or throughout the episode she gets sort of through it. She has her spirit up later on in the episode, but at the beginning she was also kind of down, kind of, worried about the class. But then again, she got rid of that later on. And two big things were revealed in this episode. These two big things are actually really important because in the last episode, I said things that were shown to be false in this episode. Not because I said things in the last episode because I wanted to lie or anything like that. No, it was just a theory. So in this episode, they were proven to be not correct. For example, I said that Yamauchi was not necessarily the bad person, but that it was actually Sakayanagi, the one that was moving or pulling the strings. But as we saw in this episode, that was actually not the case. It was actually all the opposite. It was actually Sakayanagi, the one that saved Ayanokouji. It was her plan all along to give the points to save Ayanokouji. She didn't want him to get expelled. So I guess she was right when she said she was not going to interfere in this, I guess you can say, mini test in getting him expelled, because she didn't actually do that. It was actually all the opposite. I mean, I guess you can say she actually interfered, but she didn't interfere in the way that she got him expelled. It was the opposite. She actually saved him. Not that Ayanokouji was in danger, because even though, I mean, yeah, you can say that he was in danger, at the same time, this is Ayanokouji, so even without her help, I would say that he wasn't actually in risk of being expelled. I mean, you can say that Horikita and Sakayanagi played a big role in him not getting expelled, but again, like I said before, this is Ayanokouji, so maybe he would have done something if he hadn't had the help of Horikita and Sakayanagi. He would have come up with a plan or pulled some strings or done something. But yeah, that was one of the big things that was revealed in this episode. The other big thing was that all this time Yamauchi was only being used. I mean, I guess you can say that was actually pretty clear even before this episode, but I don't mean it in that aspect. I mean it in the aspect that Sakayanagi was from the beginning trying to get Yamauchi expelled. She was not using him to get Ayanokouji expelled. It was nothing like that. She wasn't even using him to get Class C in a sort of frenzy mode. She was actually using him since the beginning to get him expelled, because I actually forgot that there wasn't a scene where Yamauchi actually kind of made fun of Sakayanagi, and I guess it makes sense why she was using him all along. So yeah, that was the other big thing that was revealed in this episode, that she didn't even want Yamauchi to betray Class C. It was nothing like that. And the other surprising thing was that of the chairman or supposed chairman, I guess you can say temporary chairman. We saw him actually confront Sakayanagi and Ayanokouji. He wasn't actually holding any punches. He straight up, faced them both. He even, made Sakayanagi fall to the floor and pin Ayanokouji to the wall. That was actually pretty surprising. I wasn't actually expecting that to happen. I thought he was going to be a chairman that was going to be a little bit more reserved, kind of wicked, kind of evil, kind of like Sakayanagi, but that was not the case. It was actually all the opposite, because he was actually pretty straightforward, and he said that later on he was actually going to become the chairman. So I guess we're going to have a new chairman going forward. It was also revealed what the last test they're going to have is going to be like, the final exam before they go into a break. It is supposed to be an exam where they're going to propose 10 activities. Each class is going to propose 10 activities, and out of those 10 activities, only 5 are going to be the ones chosen. So 5 from one class and 5 from another, and out of those 10 combined activities, only 7 are going to be the ones that are going to be played or actually put into action. There were some other things explained, but it is kind of hard grasping everything because it hasn't actually been put into action this whole exam. And yeah, it was also mentioned that there's going to be a leader, and the leader is going to be expelled if the class loses. But of course, the leaders of each class are the ones that got the points or the protection points, because now even if they lose, the leader cannot be expelled because they have that in their pocket. So it is Ayanokouji, Ichinose, Sakayanagi, and some other guy from Class D. And the classes that are going to be facing each other are Class D and B, and also Class C and A. Of course, that was expected, especially when you consider that it was all, I guess you can say, pre-arranged already. It was actually shown the activities that Class A chose for Class C, and one of them was actually chess. So I guess that is where Sakayanagi and Ayanokouji are going to face off against each other. I don't know if Ayanokouji has that sort of ability. We haven't seen that from him. But I mean, it almost seems that Ayanokouji can do a lot of things, so I wouldn't even be surprised if he can actually outsmart Sakayanagi in a chess match. So I mean, I guess that can happen. Another interesting thing that was mentioned in the episode that was actually kinda curious was that of the talk that Manabu Horikita had with Ayanokouji. Ayanokouji mentioned that now going forward he's actually going to change Horikita in a more active way, not in a passive way. I don't know what exactly he's going to do, but that was actually pretty surprising. So I don't know what plans he has for Horikita, but Manabu didn't actually seem to mind it. He actually sort of invited it, so I mean that was also surprising. And it was sort of kind of implied, not necessarily, but in a way it was, that Manabu was actually giving that green light to Ayanokouji to potentially protect Horikita, and not even protect, but also, you know, potentially become her boyfriend. That was actually pretty surprising, funny, curious, interesting. There are a lot of words that can describe it, but yeah, that was actually kind of out of nowhere when that was mentioned. Again, it wasn't actually said directly or explicitly, but that is the feeling that I got when watching that scene, that little interaction between them two. Although that could just be me saying something, theorizing something that didn't actually happen, so I mean I could also see that being the case. The other interesting thing, and I guess you can say sweet, was that of Karuizawa and Ayanokouji's interaction. We actually saw Ayanokouji give a pendant, or whatever you want to call it, to Karuizawa. That was actually kind of sweet, although we all know that probably Ayanokouji has other intentions when doing that, but at the very least it was kind of nice, at least for Karuizawa. She was actually very happy and also surprised because she didn't expect for him to remember her birthday and give her something. So yeah, even though he probably had some other intention, it was at the end of the day very nice and sweet. But yeah, that was pretty much everything that happened in the episode. I am almost certain that I forgot something important, but I think I said pretty much the most important things that came to my mind. So yeah, and if you don't want to miss any episode reviews, please subscribe to the channel. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, that will be everything by me, and I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.